This is Greg Ferris back here at Ferris for Fitness, and I'm back. I think this is my second Q&A video that I'm doing. This one is from Kyle here. Again, with some of these questions that I just get in my inbox, I feel like it'd be best to answer them in kind of a video vlog form. That way I can get the messages out to as many people as I can. And a lot of these questions that I get like multiple times, not just from one person. So the question is from Kyle, and I'll read it off pretty much. Pretty much what he asked about is training frequency. He asked me about, he said, "Hey Greg, I've been following your channel for a while now and been seeing some of your training videos. I noticed that you used to follow an upper-lower split and now you kind of do a fat protocol. Can you make a video please explaining why you think upper-lower is best for mass gains, or why you think a higher frequency of training is better than a typical once a week such as chest, Monday, back, Tuesday, etc." So that was pretty much his question. So his question is pretty much, why do I choose to train more frequently, such as, I hit usually everything twice a week, my chest twice a week, legs twice a week, etc. So I'll try to give you kind of the short and sweet answer. There's pretty much one main reason, at least from the research that I've seen, articles that I've read or whatnot, that it's going to be just overall going to help you, especially when you first start off. There's probably two reasons, but the main reason, to get it out pretty quickly, is constantly elevated protein synthesis. So to make sense of that, if you don't know what that means, pretty much your goal should be to be the net protein, positive net protein, right? So you're always going to be building protein and breaking protein down at the same time. So you really could think of protein synthesis as being addition and protein breakdown as being subtraction, right? And your goal at the end of the day, the end of a week, end of months, and even years is just to have a net protein balance that is positive, right? So when we train, we actually are breaking protein down. It's kind of one of the things you probably heard, that you don't grow when you train, you grow when you sleep, kind of a thing. That's where that whole thing kind of comes from. So when you train, you're actually breaking down protein, but one of the caveats of training is it elevates your protein synthesis, like I said, so that's going to be addition. What we're really worried about is not so much of, little parts of the day that we might be negative or positive, like I said, but just overall throughout a day, and probably out through even weeks and months, like I said, trying to be the net protein balance positive anyway. So when you break that down into frequency, what that means is that, like I said, when you're actually training, protein breakdown increases, which is not what we want. But the caveat is that protein synthesis is elevated, but it's not elevated for very long. It's usually elevated, depending on what study you see, or it could vary a little bit, but say essentially about 48 hours. So if you're using, Kyle, if you're using your question for me like on chest on Mondays, so if you train your chest, say like Monday morning, protein synthesis is going to be elevated, Monday, Tuesday, and then probably taper off around Wednesday morning. So that's definitely a good thing for you when you want to be in a net positive protein state. You couple that, not just that alone, training, couple that with good nutrition, caloric surplus, high protein diet, good sleep habits, all of that extra stuff as well. But you couple that for those first 3 days, that's what we want. We want to be in the net protein balance, positive protein balance, that is. But kind of the selling point is, if you don't train chest again until that next Monday, majority of Wednesday, and then certainly Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, you're not having that elevated protein synthesis in that given tissue. And another misconception I think people get is that, say if you just train chest on Monday, protein synthesis is elevated in your chest, not necessarily in your legs or in your back or your biceps or something like that. So you can use this for really any muscle group. If you're training back on Tuesday, again, it'd be elevated Tuesday, Wednesday, a little bit Thursday, but then again Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, it'd be back to baseline. So what you can do, that's why kind of the upper-lower split really works with having constantly elevated protein synthesis in every muscle group. So say for instance, if you hit an upper workout, and including hitting your chest on Monday, protein synthesis is elevated Monday, Tuesday, some of Wednesday, but then Thursday you hit it again, and then protein synthesis elevated Thursday, Friday, Saturday, maybe a little bit of Sunday. So your downtime, your in-between time of not having elevated protein synthesis is pretty minimal when you do an upper-lower type split, or even if you want to do something like a full body 3 times a week. You know, protein synthesis isn't the only thing you should be worried about. You also have to worry about, you know, recovery and enjoying your workout and things like that. But to answer your question pretty simply, pretty quickly, that's the main reason why most people train with a little bit higher frequency, hitting things twice a week, such as Lane Norton's fat protocol or upper lower or even full body routines, is that it just is more advantageous to you as a lifter to have protein synthesis elevated for a longer period of time in that muscle group. So that's the main reason, Kyle, that people train and that I tend to train with an upper lower split or the fat routine. So that's pretty much it. I will add one more thing in there that just may not be a selling point to a lot of people, but I think is actually is important as well. It's 2 things. If you think about it from a volume standpoint, you know, say most people that do, you know, chest on Monday, back on Tuesday, they'll usually do pretty high volume, so they'll end up doing like 15-20 sets for chest. But it's really, you know, I'll try to find some research and post this in the video description as well. It's really been found out that you really don't need a ton of volume to really see growth in that given muscle group. So I think one of the meta-analysis that I saw was like 8 to 16 sets per week. Even in advanced lifters was enough to see pretty much maximal gain. So that's even doing like 8 sets of chest on Monday, then 8 sets of chest on Thursday. When you think about it, that's not a ton of volume. That's pretty much, you know, a couple of presses, you know, for 3 sets, and then maybe like 2 sets of flies, which is typically what my chest workouts look like. So not a lot of volume. It's not, you know, incline bench, barbell bench, decline bench, you know, incline flies, you know, pullovers. It's not stuff like that. You'll see some like IFBB pros doing whatnot, but that's a different training topic. So another selling point is you really don't need that much volume. So if you're doing something like an upper lower split, you could just have, you know, 8 sets for chest, you know, 5 sets for shoulders, 5 sets for triceps, and be done. You're still doing kind of the same amount of sets, you're just breaking that up with different muscle groups. And again, if you kind of have that out with maybe like, you know, again, your shoulders will also be in protein synthesis elevated for a few days, and if you hit them again, you kind of have that same problem taken care of as opposed to only doing it once a week. That's the second thing, again. And then the third thing I wanted to mention is, it's kind of common sense. The more often you do an exercise, the greater you're going to be at that exercise, right? So if you're doing dumbbell bench or barbell bench, you know, only once a week, you know, weightlifting is a skill as well. So if you're only doing that once a week, that motor pattern you're learning and whatnot, you're only going to do that once a week. But if you're doing it twice a week, you're actually doing that movement, obviously just more often, and you're going to become better at the movement, more efficient at the movement. You'll probably end up gaining strength faster, which will actually help you, you know, gain muscle faster as well. So those are 2 other things I want to throw in there. But the main thing, Kyle, is just elevated protein synthesis. Again, hopefully I made some sense of that. It's just going to be more advantageous to you to be elevated protein synthesis for a longer period of the week, as opposed to, you know, only 2 or 3 days if you hit it once a week. And I'll post some articles too to kind of clear things up if you have any other questions for me. So that's the video, guys, on training frequency. Hopefully you took something out of this, Kyle, and anyone else who watched this. Thank you for watching my videos. As always, guys, make sure you go like my Facebook page. If you do that, you know, like and comment on my videos if you have any questions for me, and I'll have more good information coming soon, guys.